This was surprising. I have just finished the Destiny 2 Renegades campaign, and I wanted to give you my full review, the good, the bad, and the ugly, without spoilers. So that way, if you want to experience it for yourself, spoil free, don't worry. We're not going to cover anything spoiler related in this. So let's start off with the good in regards to the Destiny 2 Renegades campaign. I liked it. I actually was having a ton of fun playing this campaign with and it took a while to actually clear it as well, so I was a little bit surprised, and it was kind of an unexpected treat. Like, I was enjoying the different themes, the Star Wars themes, the experiences. Overall, my opinion of it, I don't know if I could give it a rating out of 10 necessarily, but I would say I at least had fun playing it, and it would say it was better than Edge of Fates, at least in my opinion. But so that's the good. The bad in regards to it is that maybe it wasn't that challenging. I mean, I was doing the legendary campaign solo, and from my experience and from what I've read online, a lot of people are like, are we on legendary right now? It felt pretty easy to run through. You can see the gameplay here. I'm, just running around with my baby hammers, bonking everything right here. I got the lightsaber equipped. And so, the challenge in regards to it wasn't that challenging, especially when you look back to the days of old, like the Witch Queen legendary campaigns, things like that. Those were pretty challenging. This one, not so much challenging, but definitely creative, definitely fun, and a good narrative overall. It was obviously Destiny themed. Like, it's a continuation from the Fate saga that ended with Edge of Fate. And so I liked it. And the bad was not so much challenge. The ugly part of it is that I don't know if a lot of people are really going to play this. We looked at the Steam charts and they seemed pretty low. So unfortunately, I think a lot of people may have already checked out, or maybe they're playing other games, maybe they're uninterested. Maybe after these reviews go live, maybe more will be interested. But for me, in my opinion, it was good. And if you've been a fan of Destiny, I think you will at least enjoy this campaign. I can't speak for the whole entirety of the next 6 months and what's going to transpire, but I can at least say for me, I enjoyed it. And I think you probably would enjoy it as well. But if you didn't enjoy it at all, feel free to comment down below what you thought about it. But the good, I enjoyed it. The bad, not that challenging. The ugly, it seems like not a lot of people are going to play it. So that's my overarching opinion on it. We're going to jump into exact details without spoilers now, which was the overall story direction was good. Like, it's a continuation from exactly where we left off with Edge of Fate. They didn't just randomly insert, Palpatine in there or something insane, like some crazy, Star Wars bad guys or something absurd, like something that would just kind of ruin it, which was kind of expected. I don't think anyone thought that, the narrative team would do something that absurd. It was meant to be, a Destiny story that was inspired by Star Wars. And it was a Destiny story that was inspired by Star Wars with Star Wars weapons that are renamed to Destiny weapons. Like, that's really more what it was. And I didn't hate it. I definitely don't hate the lightsaber. I don't hate any of like the weapons that came with it. I think they're pretty fun and pretty creative. And I think that that new functionality with its ammo, where it's, it does have special ammo for some of them, but it also has the overheating component. It's interesting, maybe that's how Bungie can progress forward with some of the new systems. But, it also does make the game a little bit more complicated, right? When even your ammo system has, dual functionality, it's going to be harder to explain all these things to new players. But, people get a little bit bored with primary, special, and heavy. So eventually you got to spice it up a little bit. So I think I think they did the right approach with the overheating weapons, and I like the Star Wars weapons overall. The campaign sets up the future for, what's going on with like the Nine. Obviously, 3 had died at the end of Edge of Fate. And so we're kind of progressing forward with this. What does this mean? What does it mean to bind the Nine? What do we do with this? Those are kind of the things we're exploring with this, progressing that story on forward from the Fate saga. It's mysterious. It's mildly interesting, I'd say. Is it wildly compelling? No, it doesn't have me gripping the edge of my seat. I'm not a big story guy or a big lore guy, though. I'm more of a crayon-eating titan, but I do want to enjoy the story. A good example is like the Red War campaign was an incredibly good story. It was very easy to get captivated by it. This one, it's not bad, but it's just it doesn't have me on the edge of my seat necessarily. But it is, this is the direction they're going with it. I know others are intrigued, and if you did have, some issues with the story, feel free to sound off in the comment section below. We had some new characters introduced. Okay, so you got Dredgen, Bale, and he's like definitely a Star Wars looking guy. He's got an amalgamation of a variety of different Star Wars elements and themes behind him. And he's cool. He's a very cool, very, dark, disturbed type guy. And his energy and his presence in the story was fun. And I didn't hate him. I didn't feel like he was too corny or cheesy necessarily. Maybe a few moments, perhaps, but overall, he was a cool character. And I kind of liked some of the little battles he had throughout the campaign and his overall presence. And then we had Loom here, which I think you might see the fight with this guy in just a moment on the screen here. So maybe a little bit of spoilers there, but I mean, if I'm being honest, it's really nothing that revolutionary, So if you're not wanting to see the battle with that, then that it is what it is. But I think that battle is coming up in just a minute in the B-roll here. And Loom is, part of this Imperium Cabal faction, and it was cool. I don't want to spoil it for you, so you have to experience yourself. But it was cool. I didn't hate any of it. Like I said, the challenging was a little bit missing there, but other than that, it's fine. The pacing was good. The villain presence was solid, and the difficult tuning was definitely off. New enemy types. These new Cabal are. I mean, they look different. I don't know if they even function much different. There were some like specialty shields out there, but from my experience, using this Solar Titan hammer build, as you saw there was an enemy, and we just threw one hammer at him, and he just blew up and died. So that's what I'm talking about in terms of challenge, legendary campaign, and these, high value targets that are meant to have, high health and shields are just easily cooked. I mean, even right here, I'm kind of taunting. As you can see there, I just stand there AFK, and the enemies can't even damage me in the slightest bit. Bungie obviously added brawn to all of this, so you like wouldn't be able to heal your health. But if you played any of that Call to Arms event, you're farming the salt mines, you know that this Bonk Titan build is really good, and we have Worm God on with it, so we're just able to run through everything. And even though we don't regain health, we're getting those little healing drops along with sunspots and everything else. So it's not too hard to stay alive with this. This build was really good. If you had that build saved, I did a video on it, but basically just Worm God, Solar Titan is pretty easy and free to clear this on Legendary Campaign solo. Maybe Hunters and Warlocks would have been different, but probably not insanely challenging if you're just using a good build for them. But let me know what you think if you did clear it out as a Hunter or Warlock, if it was a little bit more challenging, because for my Titan, you can see here we just threw a million hammers from some of the gameplay, and right now we're on a Sparrow, but there's that. So yeah, and it's pretty interesting in regards to the campaign, its direction. How the length of it surprised me because I wasn't expecting it to be as long, but it was good. Like I wanted it to be, lengthy campaign. I don't think anyone would complain about that. It was like stuff to do, that's what we want. And the loot that went along with it was good. A lot of Star Wars weapons, really powerful, really fun, unique as well. And their functionality, obviously their ammo type alone makes them unique. And if you enjoyed Star Wars, if you're a big Star Wars fan, you'll recognize basically everything in terms of weapons. And you'll definitely recognize some of the story themes and elements. I'm a filthy Star Wars casual, so I just have watched the movies like maybe a few times. I've watched some of the early movies, but I definitely have not been following up with recent Star Wars as they've ventured off in this like Disney, capitalistic approach of making as much money as possible and whatever they're doing. But I did watch Mandalorian and Andor. Those were both really good, but that's about the end of it for me. I don't know if I'm going to watch too much Star Wars out there, but if you're watching it, if you're a big fan, I think you'll probably enjoy it. If you weren't a big Star Wars fan, you probably won't really care too much for it. Like you won't hate the campaign. It's still a good campaign aside from that. Like it's still interesting, but it won't resonate as strongly with you, I guess. And so yeah, the end of campaign payoff was good, and the community reaction so far has been overall, I would say, pretty positive. I think most people have said that they've enjoyed at least the campaign part of Renegades. Now, what is the next 6 months going to look like? What is the rest of the game going to look like? Those are all questions that we're going to also dive in separate videos. So make sure you're subscribed with notifications on if you want to stay up to date on all those things as usual. And I'm sure most of you are. But that was my overall opinions. And let me know what you think about it, if you were able to clear it or if you're in there playing. And it's the last final notes I would say on is it's not sad or maybe frustrating, but it's just when Bungie does something, I would say good, like when they actually like make a pretty good campaign, and so few people have logged in because of the fatigue or the frustrations of things in the past. That's definitely alarming. It's tough, Like, I think that if more people logged in and gave Renegades campaign a try, I think they would be impressed and actually have some fun with it. But it seems like, at least from the Steam charts, like not a lot of people are here to try it out. So I wanted to make a video, at least give my opinion on it. And I don't get paid by Bungie to do this by any means. You know, I could easily make a video and say it sucked ass and it was the worst campaign ever and I hated it and no one should ever play it and everyone should ask for a refund. You know, I could easily do that if I wanted to, but you know, it's just not the truth of the situation from my experience. So want to just give you a breakdown and let you know my unbiased opinions. I'm not a Bungie creator, not paid for any of this. I just like to bring you commentary and content on the topic. So that was the good, the bad, and the ugly for me in regards to the Renegades campaign. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below.